Hey y'all, we back y'all. We back with another reaction. And this really not really too much of a reaction. This is a situation that happened to someone mother, beautiful mother. So Nancy Guthrie, um, let me show y'all a nice picture of her. I got a nice picture of Miss Guthrie. And we're gonna talk about that before I go into the details. Yeah, I've been looking at this, y'all, and it's just took me back about my mother. I didn't nobody do nothing to her, but we was looking for her just like Savannah. We're looking for her mom. My mom was 83. What happened, y'all? Right here is Miss Nancy. She 84 years old, y'all. She stay alone. She is the mother of today show co-anchor Savannah, and that's Savannah in the picture with her. She loves her mother, and her situation was a little different from my mom. My mom used to drive, y'all. Wasn't nothing wrong with her. She didn't have dementia or nothing right there at the time, and it put me in reminder of her mother. Well, my sister lived with her though. But anyway, with this case right here, uh, they mentioned that they suspected that it was an abduction. I don't know, y'all. They abducted her from her home in CATALINA, foothills near TUCSON, Arizona, on around January the 31st of this year, y'all. Well, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we just in February. And authorities believe she was taken against her will, as she has limited mobility. Mobility requires daily life-saving medication and left her phone behind. My mom did the same thing, y'all. My mom left her phone. She was 83. She wasn't with no sign of dementia or nothing. My sister said she just walked out the door normal, just normal. Said she about to go play her number, just talking. My mom could drive, and she went down the street and played her number. Not over here, but she went down the street and played her number. But we gonna find her. My sister said she didn't know where she was. I said, "What you mean by she missing?" So by that being my mother, no. I know my mom ain't missing. Y'all got to tell me something different. I ain't want to talk nobody. So I thinking about her mom, but I don't know why the FBI think that investigating her situation. Well, the guys at the store said they seen my mom. My mom got in to play her numbers, but she was doing unusual things, y'all. They said she left her number. You know how you go play cash 3 numbers? She loved to play those numbers. And she played her number and she left her bill folder. Not a bit like a little cash change where she changed first on the counter. And she left her cane. She walked with a little cane every now and then. But they said she left it. So the guys at the store, all the people so nice to her, they say mama. They call her mama. Told my mom that she left they got her on camera, y'all. She left her change purse, and they gave her change purse, her numbers, and some guys out there. They was fussing about something, but it didn't have nothing to do with her. So they walked her to the car, and y'all, she went past her apartment where she lived. She stayed down the street a minute. Right. She stayed over there. Used to be Carver Home, but they changed it into something else, y'all. The store over there where I know what's the little boy name? His name come on over there with young thug, all them. He not from here. Anyway, over that way. But in this case right here, the FBI and the local law enforcement are investigating her disappearance as kidnapping, and a $50,000 reward has been offered for her mother. Now, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like I don't know if her mom drives. You see what I mean? I don't know, but it's us. But her family reaction is that Savannah, her daughter, has taken a leave of absences from the NBC duties to assist in searching her mom. Now, I've been seeing Miss Guthrie, but I didn't think I thought Miss Nancy would be found by now. But y'all, anywho, this to end about my mother real quick, because I like to share my awareness. Um, they found her. Everybody went looking for her, just like Savannah looking for her mom, but I didn't. But I didn't want to hear no bad news, since I know how I am. So my mom way down, y'all, down in another part of the city, another part of the city, another part of the city, yeah. She was down a long way in a lake. She was in the lake, located in a lake. She was in a lake, yes, and couldn't swim or nothing, because she had her cane. I'll bring this up. But her mom, they haven't found her mom. Now I'm gonna give y'all a little update so y'all can, can understand what's going on. Okay.
A Hawthorne man is facing federal ransom scheme. The story, of course, everyone has been following. Prosecutors say Derek Colella demanded Bitcoin from the Guthrie family after 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie went missing from her Arizona home. The FBI actually arrested Colella in Hawthorne today. The investigation moved quickly. The search for Guthrie is now entering day 5. Tonight, investigators say no one's been ruled out as a suspect. Pima County Sheriff says there are still no suspects identified, though, and now a new plea from the Guthrie family just within the past hour.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
On to Sarah Legre live in Tucson, Arizona, with the latest on this mystery. Sarah?
Well, Phil, earlier today we heard from FBI investigators, and they mentioned some new details about that ransom note that was shared with television stations earlier this week. Inside of it, a 5 p.m. deadline for today. That is the same time that Savannah Guthrie posted that new video on Instagram, this time of Cameron Guthrie, as you just heard, telling their mother's captors, "We want to talk." As the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie enters another day Thursday, authorities speaking directly to whoever is responsible for her disappearance, calling for immediate action.
You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a much worse scenario for you.
The FBI has announced a $50,000 reward for any information leading to Nancy's safe return or the arrest of anyone involved. Nancy was last seen at her Tucson home just before 10 Saturday night after dinner with family. Early Sunday morning, a doorbell camera disconnected at 1:47. Minutes later, software detected someone on camera, but there's no video. By 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. Sheriff Nano says that there's no way to recover that video because there's no subscription for the camera.
They've run out of ways to recover anything.
All of this comes after Guthrie's children released an emotional video Wednesday, pleading for their mother's safe return and asking for proof of life.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she's alive and that you have her.
Police addressed ransom notes that have been sent to the local and national media. One of the notes set a deadline for 5 p.m. Thursday. If not met, another deadline was set for Monday.
Any action taken on any ransom is ultimately decided by the family.
And Phil, as you know, earlier, they've arrested the Los Angeles County man for sending fake ransom texts to the Guthrie family demanding Bitcoin payments. But investigators, they wanted to make it clear at this point there's no direct line or direct link, rather, between those messages along with the ransom notes that were passed along to TV stations earlier this week. Phil, back to you.
Sarah, is any updates from law enforcement or the FBI or the sheriff's scheduled, or is it going to depend on events?
Yeah, so earlier today, we heard from Pima County Sheriff's Department. They said at this point they're not going to hold any more organized briefings, but they said when it calls for it, they're going to schedule a press conference as soon as possible.
Okay, y'all, let me see something up here. They got something about 2 hours ago that her son, let me see what her son say right here.
Breaking tonight, a social media plea from Nancy Guthrie's son tonight, right as the deadline listed in a possible ransom note passed.
The 84-year-old mother now missing nearly 5 full days. WGN's Jenna Barnes joins us now with the very latest tonight.
And the FBI says it's taking one ransom note that was sent to several media outlets seriously, though there has been no additional communication or proof of life. Tonight, a deadline included in that note has passed.
We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we know that you have our mom.
Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron, speaking directly to his mom's possible kidnapper in a new video posted to Instagram at a significant moment, 5 p.m. Tucson time.
The ransom note that was distributed to the media did make a demand for 5 p.m. today, and if a transfer wasn't made, then I think a second demand was for next Monday.
The FBI unveiling those new details about the ransom note sent to at least 3 media outlets, saying the Bureau advises families during these ransom situations,
We are ready to talk.
but does not tell them whether to pay the ransom.
We were there last night in talking with the family, but every decision is there.
Investigators also laying out a timeline of the events that led up to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. At 5:32 p.m. Saturday, she took an Uber to a family member's home for dinner. She was dropped back off at her house at 9:48 p.m. That's when the garage door opened and it closed 2 minutes later. At 1:47 a.m. Sunday, the doorbell camera disconnects, but software detects a person on camera at 2:12 a.m. The video authorities.
Okay, so they saw someone on her camera, but her camera wasn't connected, y'all. Because some rings are like that. You don't have to have them connected. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't have her ring working. Wow.
Cannot be recovered because there was no subscription. At
Right.
2:28 a.m., Guthrie's pacemaker disconnects from an app on her phone. It was just before noon Sunday when the family went to check on her and called for help minutes later.
At this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case.
The Pima County Sheriff says the blood found on the front porch is now confirmed to be Nancy Guthrie's as they await DNA results on other evidence. And he's clarified.
Hold on. They said what? They said they found what?
Sheriff says the blood found on the front porch is now confirmed to be Nancy Guthrie's.
Wow, I wonder what happened. Okay, y'all know now. Wow, now she doing well. I don't know now because, like I said, my mom had in a dementia that quick. Like we didn't know she had it And she disappeared like Miss Nancy, but she was driving though, y'all, and she just ended up somewhere, not even where she lived. She was going way over there on this side of town. Got out the car, walked in, and came out. Got out of her car, like the car, like the went in the lake. She got out the lake, went around the car, y'all, and began to walk, and walked right into the lake, but she could hardly see. So my mom died in the lake, but she was 83 with dementia. Just got it. But I'm looking at her mom, 84. But it's a lot of things going on here. Now I want to take y'all to when I first heard about Nancy about a week ago. Uh, it came popped up my phone about TMZ. TMZ was sent a ransom note. I don't understand why did these people go through TMZ about her mother, but I'm gonna let y'all hear this. Now I remember this. Now this here.
Here now with Morris, founder of TMZ. Harvey Levin is with us. Harvey, my friend, wish I saw you under better circumstances. Let's talk a little bit what you learned as this was going on in real time while you're doing the show.
When we received what looked like a ransom letter, and so we called the sheriff's department in Pima, and they took the information where they mentioned both. Now I can say it because the FBI said it: an Apple Watch and a damaged floodlight. What I found interesting, because we knew she wore an Apple Watch. There are pictures of her with Savannah with that watch, but they mentioned where the watch was, the placement of the watch in the house. And that's not something that was out there. So I had a long talk with the sheriff's department. A couple hours later, the FBI called, and they wanted a lot of information. So when I said there are two deadlines, yes, there is one that changes the demand, and that's the one that has already passed. And the one on Monday is far more consequential.
Well, I want to go back to that word consequential, because what you said on your show, something is supposed to change if they don't pay the money by the first deadline, quote, but the second deadline is much more important. And now you're saying much more consequential. Look, I'm not going to ask you to disclose anything you can't disclose. But it sounds dire. It sounds like the urgency to find her, time is certainly of the essence, and it sounds like there's a greater threat behind this.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're reading it right. I will say the letter begins, and again, we're not sure that this is really written by the person who has Nancy, but I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared, and they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand
Well, see, she on a pacemaker, y'all. Oh my God. Miss Nancy has a pacemaker. Oh my God. This is not good at all, y'all. I'm gonna see if I find that 911 call too. Oh man, she got a. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Please, y'all, give us some. Just say something good about Miss Nancy, please, because I know she's nervous. Like a sweet old lady.
And so they are, through us telling the family, and obviously the sheriff's department gave the family the letter we received, exactly what they're demanding, and they're saying that Nancy is aware of it. They are also saying, Sean, and I find this pretty interesting when you look at what happens after. They're saying that this will be their only communication, and they are done communicating, negotiating. Here's the deal, and that's it. And as the context, I think that's one of the reasons the FBI and other authorities have gotten desperate here, because as far as we can tell, it's possible to trace the origin of this email. And I will say that there are real reasons, based on what's written there, that I believe that this person is in the radius of the Tucson area. And there's something very specific in there, and I'm sure the FBI keyed in on this a while ago. And it makes me think that whoever did this, if whoever wrote this letter is in that Tucson area, and I think it's one of the reasons too that they sent the same email to one of the local stations in Tucson. This person is familiar with the Tucson television market, and based on the way it's written, I believe that this is somebody in that wide Tucson area. Not in Tucson, could be in New Mexico. They could be in New Mexico now, but they are definitely familiar with Tucson.
That's right.
It's interesting because both you and Nancy Grace, both old friends of mine, both have the same theory that it's a local person. When you first read this, and as you examine this, and as you talk to law enforcement, you have great instincts, Harvey. I mean, you've been a success for decades on television. You kind of have a nose for what's true and not true. Does your gut tell you this is very real to you, that this is a ransom, a kidnapping ransom?
Well, look, I don't know for sure. I felt that when I called the sheriff and told them about these two items, that would be a telltale thing. That if those items or something in the description match something that we don't know, that the public didn't know, then it gives credence to it. And again, I got a call from the FBI a few hours later, and they were very interested. They were on the phone with my IT team. As far as I know, and my IT team has been hard at work on this, and I know the feds have. I don't think they're going to be able to figure out where this email came from. I know the Bitcoin address is real. So what I will say is this, that this is not a letter that was thrown together in a couple of minutes. It is a very specific, well-organized, layered letter that really lays things out. This is not AI. If an English teacher were to look at the structure and the grammar and everything else, I think they would have no notes. So this is somebody, it's not a crazy person who's writing this. I mean, they may be crazy, but they have the capacity to make demands, say what they want, say what they don't want, and it's very, very structured.
So the family has now reached out twice publicly, and it is your strong belief, and you've seen the letter, you've got the first copy that I know of. It's your strong belief that, in fact, this will be their only means of communication. You don't believe they'll be responding to Savannah or her brother.
Well, look, Sean, that's what they say in the letter. There's a substantial demand here. And what the Guthries have said is they want proof of life. And just saying in the letter she's okay but scared doesn't prove life. And so I don't know what's going to happen. Will whoever, if this letter is legitimate, will this person have a change of heart and try and send something? I don't know. But the way it's written, they say this is it. It's the only communication, and the police aren't going to be able to help you. They're that bold saying that. So as far as I know, the police don't have a lot of clues here, because that's one of the reasons they were so open today news conference and provided more details. But I will tell you, and I think this is, I just cannot overstate my gut here. And it's more than my gut. There is a phrase in this email that absolutely makes me believe this person who wrote this, and if they're telling the truth, that Nancy is within a radius of the Tucson area, not in Tucson right now, but in a radius. It could be New Mexico. They don't know how far, but I think at least what the authorities have is they've got a radius, and that's something.
Yeah, something just came upon me So I ain't, like I said, I ain't no spiritual woman, but sometimes I be right with that spirit, man. But it's something like I was just saying that she could have. She probably she might not be alive now. Allegedly, she might not be alive. The reason why I said it because she 84, she could be going through dementia, y'all. She don't have her medicine. She have a pacemaker. This mother needs help. No, no, the math is not. No, 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 it's not. That's what I said. But when my mom, she drove, she was 83, and we didn't know dementia had hit her, and she's in a way, y'all, not this section of Atlanta, way somewhere she never been before. But they caught the camera on her at the Walmart driving. She went to Walmart, then she went down one street, then it went through a neighborhood. They caught on the camera where she got out her car. She was at a lake. There's a lot of lakes around there, y'all. Usually they'll try to find lakes, but I don't know if she was walking or was she driving. This lady, Miss Nancy. But let's hear what Nancy has to say about this. But this is when I first heard it from TMZ. It came through my phone, and I didn't want to. It really touched my heart when I heard about her. But let me see what Nancy had to say about it.
We continue to monitor the home of Nancy Guthrie after a flurry of police activity within the last 12 hours. At the same time, a desperate search for Nancy is underway. So, what will it take to solve the case and bring this 84-year-old grandmother home safe and sound and get her the medicine that she desperately needs? See Grace on Fox Nation. Nancy is with us. Okay. And you have studied more crimes than any other one person that I know. Let's look at and unpack, as I've been saying, all this new information that we have and that post by Savannah and her brother and sister on Instagram. What do you glean from that?
Number one, it's heartbreaking and excruciating to watch, but we have to watch. And this is what I discern. I discern, number one, law enforcement absolutely knew that this statement was being made. They probably helped them prepare it. I know Savannah. Savannah would not go rogue. We work together at Court TV. She's covered many, many cases like this.
Wow.
She knows what's happening. She would not go rogue and do this against law enforcement's decision, much less the FBI, for peace sake. Of course they knew, and they probably coached them or helped them. Number one. What else does it tell me? To take the ransom notes seriously. There's a lot being thrown around in the media that is it real? Is it fake? Is Bitcoin?
So, like Nancy said, she rammed her situation was ransom. But the thing is, the person who wrote the ransom note, he's locked up. So by Miss Nancy need her medicine. Miss Nancy needs her pace. She have a pacemaker. She have, her health is not there. So I hope that nothing happened to Miss Nancy. And if it did, he needs to tell them so Savannah can move on with her life. You know what I mean? But she ain't gonna never forget her mother. But I wish the guy who they called, y'all, they be nice to him and try to get something out of him. And I hope they find Miss Nancy.
That note had something in it that made Savannah Guthrie, who knows the law like the back of her hand, try to reach out and speak to whoever sent it. That tells me that possibly the description in the note was accurate. Only the family and law enforcement would know that. And they have chosen, Savannah and her brother and sister have chosen to engage with whoever wrote those notes. There's something in that note accurate.
Okay, so I agree with you. I can't imagine that they would go out there with this statement and basically asking for proof of life, talking about a willingness to talk. I don't think they would do that at all without taking into account the real possibility that law enforcement deep down believes this is a very real possibility of a kidnapping and a ransom. ransom. Now, those cases are treated very specifically. How would you imagine this now begins to unfold?
Well, we've got to wait now. We're playing their game, the
Right.
perpetrator's game. One other thing I can glean from this, Sean, is that there's been a lot of speculation. It's from it's an insider very close to the family. I think if the family thought that, they would not be speaking on Insta to an unknown party. I don't think you would see this happening.
Right.
We're seeing this extraordinary moment right now. They want proof of life, and it can't be some AI image. They want to know she's alive. They want something in the background to show she's alive. It's got to be something that strikes them as real. And again, we're playing the perps game. I don't like that. We're going to have to wait on them to respond, see what the response is. What if we don't hear from them for another day, 2 days, 3 days? Did you know such a long time for the ransom note to appear? That was concerning to me. And another thing, Savannah and her family have been through HELL because they haven't come forward and spoken until now. Did anybody ever think that in her position, in the limelight, in the public, she was told that that may throw fuel on the flame? I'm sure she was following the directions of law enforcement. And now she's spoken. I hope that makes everybody happy so we can now focus on finding Nancy Guthrie.
Right.
Let's go back to what we know. Why did they go back? And I know we're all speculating here, but there's got to be a reason why they went back to the mother's home today, why they went to the sister's home today. Now, they might have this could be very innocent. They went to the sister's home maybe in preparation for this statement that they were going to release tonight. It could have been that simple an explanation. And I don't like that people run rogue. The media often rushes to judgment. They're wrong on Richard Jewell, wrong on Duke Lacrosse, UVA, Ferguson, Missouri, Freddie Gray in Baltimore. They're wrong a lot. So we don't like to rush to judgment. You never rush to judgment. But why do you think they went back to the house today? There had to be a specific reason. And it's hard to believe in this day and age, Nancy, help me, that there are cameras everywhere.
Right.
Digital. Did this, ripped that camera out at Savannah's mother's house, at Nancy Guthrie's house. However, what about a neighbor? They had to have somebody, got every license plate and every person, that walked down that street or drove down that street that night.
You cannot tell me in a neighborhood like that
Thank you.
there are not security cameras, surveillance throughout. And she was taken in a vehicle. She can't walk past 50 yards, all right?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy, thank you, Jesus. So Savannah mother doesn't walk, y'all. But my mom, like I said, at 83, she was driving a car. So she was driving when she went missing. Now, Nancy mother, somebody picked her up. Somebody drove. I wonder, did she catch an Uber? Did they check that out? Did they check all the Uber drivers again? Because she called an Uber to her daughter's house earlier that day and called the Uber home. Wonder, did she get kidnapped by the Uber? Had they tried the Uber driver?
We know there's forced entry, but they came out of that front door from the blood that she was put in a car. There's got to somewhere. We know they're in a vehicle, and I know we got to track that vehicle. But I want to point out one thing. It wasn't just agents. They brought dogs, Sean. They brought dogs. What does that mean? Were they looking? Was she taken into the garage? Was she, you have to look to see where they're taking the dogs. Then it looked like they were doing somewhat of a grid search around the area, like out into the woods a little bit. Did they get a tip, or did they think that they had missed something? I thought they
see. I'm gonna tell you. I just told y'all, but she doesn't walk. So somebody, she didn't make it. I don't allegedly think that she's living. And the reason why I said that is because of her pacemaker and her med. She need her medicine for her heart, y'all. Y'all don't know, at 84, she needs that pacemaker. She needs her medicine. She haven't had no medicine in days. Oh my God. But this is what the outcome I would like to see. Please tell Savannah where her mother and her family, where their mother is, please, in her, her family. Please tell them what happened so they can put her the rest, in peace. Because Savannah is taking his heart, y'all.
Way too early. That's just me. Having handled thousands of crime scenes, but they went back to that scene. That scene could have been tampered by now.
That's right.
Okay, we have cadaver dogs. We have drug dogs. There are dogs that are trained specifically to scout electronics that may be hidden somewhere. I mean, it could have been any number of reasons why those dogs were brought in there. But you're right, they did expand outside into the property.
Right.
Okay, what do you think they're looking for?
I think that they may be looking for the approach into the home. There have now been reports of a male that does not live in the neighborhood that had been in the area leading up to the time that Nancy was taken. Are they trying to pick up a scent there? I think that they've gotten a tip. They've got some kind of
they got the tip.
Back and check it out, and they brought dogs. That's what I can surmise right now, and that's very serious to bring the dogs back out. They're looking for some type of human scent, I believe. I don't think they're looking for electronics. And they're not looking for drugs. They're looking for a human.
They're looking for her.
Let's go back to the original statements of law enforcement. They believe she was taken out of her home by force. It was a forced entry to the home. We know that the camera was ripped out. There was the blood, but as you pointed out last night on this program,
So the camera that was ripped out, that could be somebody she knows, y'all. Because they got to fake the man who faked and who wanted that $100,000. They got him. I wonder, is it somebody that the family knows?
Not a significant amount of blood that would indicate that she was dead when she left that house. That means that she was taken out against her will, according to law enforcement. Walk us through. That means I think I would conclude if they wanted to kill her, they would have killed her right then.
Right. They wanted her money.
They wanted to take her. They took her.
They want that money.
Now, as you look at each little piece of that puzzle, having gone over, thousands and thousands of cases throughout your career, what does it tell you?
It tells me, number one, she was upright and walking. She may have been assisted. She was not down. She was not being dragged prone because the blood was dropping, I think, from her nose. And you see droplets coming down. As a matter of fact, if you very carefully look at that blood in the front, it's almost as if you can see the steps through the first 4 tiles. There's a drop or two of blood on each tile. She's being led out of that house, and based on the blood, she is still upright. That's very significant in my mind. She's alive at that point. That's what I think. If this were random, they would have killed her, robbed her, raped her, and left her body in that home. That's harsh. I know it's harsh, but I'm dealing with the facts. She's not there. That's not what this is about, which gives credence to the ransom notes. And now we see coming out, they're giving credence to the ransom notes too. Or are they grasping at straws? I don't think so. There's something in that note that rings true.
Let me see, do they have a update? They should have an update, y'all. I just showed y'all the update, but I just think it's something else, baby. And then Nancy just put something else out an hour ago. So let me see. Let me see. Can I get an update? Because that's the update that I gave y'all. Come on, they got to tell us more than this. Okay, let me see. Can I find another update? Hold on, y'all. I know her mother need her medicine. She got a pacemaker. That's her heart. Update. Nancy Guthrie. Guthrie. Hey, did you? Yeah. Right. See, we saw this. We saw that. That was too. Well, they caught him when she first went disappeared 12 hours ago. Let me see. I want her found so bad. Let's go through the timeline, y'all. Let's go back through the timeline. Let's go back through this.
We begin with breaking news in the search for the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host. A timeline from authorities provides a clearer picture of the moments before and after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. On Saturday, January 31st, around 5:32 p.m., Nancy took an Uber.
Let's look at it together. Whew, they gave me a rest to my head. January the 31st, 5:32 p.m. Nancy traveled to local family's home. Okay, let me do something for a minute, y'all. I got to pull my calendar out. Hold on for a minute. Y'all know how I am. Calendar. Okay. Let me go through here. Okay, y'all. January the 31st was on a Saturday. And she was 84 like she is now. Now, she went over to her family's house with an Uber at 5:32. You have to be able to walk with it when you get on Uber or live for Uber. Okay, so that's in the evening. 5:32 is on that Saturday. 9:48 p.m. The family drops Nancy off at home, and the garage door opens. Family drops Nancy off at home. Garage door open. What? Why did the garage door open? That's still spooky. Oh Lord, okay, so the garage door open. That's weird. Why did the garage door open, y'all? Somebody in the house. And at 9 p.m., at 9:50 p.m., the garage door closed. Wait a minute. So who is controlling the garage door? Okay.
To her daughter Annie's home for dinner. At 9:48 p.m., Annie's husband dropped Nancy off at home, and Nancy's garage door opened. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door closed. Then at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnected.
Now on February, that's weird though. Come here, y'all. Think about it. Think about what I just said. The door open. Who opened the? Who unlocked? Who? Why did the door open like that? So this sounds like somebody. So on that Sunday, the next day, at 1:47 a.m. in the morning, the doorbell camera disconnect. Well, let me tell you about her doorbell camera. You could still have a doorbell camera where you can see who at the door, but she wasn't paying to monitor it. Okay, so no, they can't monitor it. You can just look at it. But a.m. in the morning, 1:47 in the morning, a lady 84-year-old, she sleep. Somebody disconnect her. The following day, she came from over her family house. They knew she was at home alone because the door open and the garage door open, the garage door closed at 9:50. Okay? Now, the next morning, in the middle of that morning, so when she went in there, what happened? Because early in the morning, around about 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera was disconnected. Why? And at 2:12 a.m., the software detects person on the camera. A person was on the camera at 2:12 a.m. So y'all, and no, even if a person was on the camera at 2:12 a.m., y'all had to see the people. Come on now. Y'all had to see who was on the camera. Okay, could have been. No, I see, you know what, Marcus. See, my dad had a pacemaker. And his thing was in his heart, in his arm. In his arm, located in his left arm. And like you said, that battery, there's something to think about it. And then, and what tripping me out here is if they say at 2:12 a.m., a person was on the camera. Okay, so we knew it was a person. So here it is in the morning, they still got her. At 2 a.m., the pacemaker app shows disconnect disconnect from the phone. That's weird. Marcus, that's weird. Oh no, could the battery? I don't know. Could the battery could have died now? Yeah, that battery could have died. So at 2:28, all this early in the morning, she sleep at that time. I don't walk at that time, but she sleep at that time. It was disconnected from the phone. Wow. It was disconnected.
At 2:12 a.m., software detected someone on camera, but investigators can't review that video because Nancy didn't purchase a subscription, and the company says it can't be recovered. At 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. Hours later, at 11:56 a.m., friends said Nancy didn't show up to church, and the family.
Of course, she didn't show up to church on the first because there was something going on in the middle of that morning. Of course, she didn't show at 11:56. She wasn't at the church. 12:03, 911 is called. 12:03, 911 is called. We're gonna try to find the 911 call. And 12:15 p.m. the patrol arrived. Okay, the family called the police because she didn't show up in church.
We went to check on her. At 12:03, someone dialed 911, and at 12:15, the first deputies arrived on the scene. The CBS News correspondent Jonathan Bigliotti is live in front of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Jonathan, I know that you were there for today's press conference. Tell us about the new details and what stands out to you right now.
And Julia, at the timeline that you just listed, a significant development from that press conference. For the first time, we're getting a better sense of when Nancy was
right
abducted. Officials now saying possibly sometime just after 2 in the morning. And when you look closer at the timeline, to me, it appears that whoever entered that home could have been inside for as long as 40 minutes. Next to the blood that was found inside and outside of the home, the sheriff starting off the press conference saying that blood was DNA tested. The results came back connecting it directly to Nancy Guthrie. At this point, no proof of life. The sheriff, if there were alive?
Mm.
He said, no, not at this hour. You mentioned the
Hmm.
security cameras, and I just want to point that out one more time because it's significant here in terms of how it's hampering this investigation. They were not working, so we have no idea who entered, who left, and on top of that, this is a rural community. You can see vegetation that has been.
They told us that they saw somebody on the camera. Now that's what giving me away that somebody was there because somebody on the camera. And by the way, if somebody, whoever dropped her family member dropped her off, that garage door open. So who let up the garage door? Who closed that garage door? And why? And she's not asleep. All this going on in the morning. The pacemaker can disconnect from the phone if the person is out Bluetooth range. Oh, and another thing too, Marcus, she didn't have her phone on her. She like my mom. She left my mom left her phone. I think my mom left her phone at home. So, but Nancy said she don't walk, but she had to walk to go in the house, right? She had to walk to go. Nancy said she walks. She walks. I'm still curious who let the garage door up, who shut the garage door. And I hope she didn't go through a dimension thing. You know what I mean? Like, dimension, like you don't know where you are. There's so much going on with her right there. There's so much going on. Dimension could have hit her. She could be around in the area near some water, near out there somewhere, but she need her pacemaker. Hmm. He thinking like us.
Nothing in terms of capturing any movement. All of this now, as officials continue on day 5
But
to call on
I know they got cameras in the mama house, not the ring. The ring is different from having cameras because this look like a camera right here. The garage. Somebody open it, close it, but that's scary. That's spooky. I'm pulling up, dropping you off, and your garage door just come open, and I'd be like, who opened that door? Who let your door open? That would have freaked me out. And why they open the door? Why they do that? And then the door closed. That's weird. They got to have cameras. I know Savannah. They did. All them people around there got money, y'all. I know they got to have cameras on that house. This look like a camera right here. If they got cameras on that house, those cameras work. Those cameras in that house work. Cause that her mama 84-year-old, she don't need to be out there by herself. Do she have a caretaker? Do she have someone living there with her? Who's in her house? She's 84, y'all. My mama was 83, but get around real good. But my sister lived with her. So my sister could tell y'all that she walked out the house and said she was going to play her numbers like a normal person. But she didn't. We knew she didn't have dementia. So I'm thinking about uh uh Savannah mom. She had to she looked like she went through dementia real quick. But it's some weird stuff going on with Savannah mama. This didn't happen until she came from over her sister house. And the garage door went when she came out from over her family member's house. She caught an Uber there, but they brought her home. And the garage door opened and the garage door closed. Who was in her mom's house, allegedly? And big as that house is, I know they got some cameras in their house.
for their help, Juliet.
Yeah, the FBI and Sheriff's Department actively investigating an apparent ransom note containing a deadline, as we were saying, for 5 p.m. tonight. So what do we know about them seriously?
Yeah, officials have received more than 1,000 tips. They have tracked down many of them. This one could be the most significant. And today we got more confirmation about that ransom note, how it was received. They confirmed that it was originally emailed to a local television station Monday night. That station then forwarded it to the sheriff handing it over to FBI officials. They're still analyzing it to see if it is valid. But with that said, today they announced that they are now taking it seriously. That it
And who found her?
The author of that ransom note is connected to the crime scene. Would not tell us the details inside that note initially, and then I pressed during a Q&A portion of the press conference. Take a listen.
The ransom note that was sent out there, obviously every lead in this case we are taking extremely serious. Given what is presented to the family, why this one line with a monetary value that we're asking for. So at that point, what were some of those facts that get you? There's a lot of speculation, as you know, said the registry. Yeah, the ransom itself, one talked about an Apple Watch, and one talked about a floodlight. We're not going to investigation moving forward, and we don't want to put more facts out there that others that can use to try to profit from it.
So there you have it. And CBS News has now confirmed hostage negotiators with the FBI are now here on the ground as the search continues. Day 5 going into day 6 without much evidence.
Yeah, Jonathan, I was just looking at the timeline. At 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. That's not any indication of a health situation. That's more the distance away from her phone.
Like you
correct?
just said, Marcus, the distance.
That's correct. So that phone, that device, and we're also being told by officials it was also the Apple Watch. They're connected by Bluetooth through that implanted device. The minute that device is separated from that phone, that Apple Watch, we know that both of those devices were left at the home. The connection stops. So
but why is her mom at that house, y'all, without that camera being hooked up, being monitored? Why is that baby? Why is oh my God, Miss Nancy? Oh no! Why is it? Why the camera? Why her camera? She's 84. Why isn't her camera monitoring her? Why did nobody notice that? She 84. Anything can happen to her. Oh.
That time that Nancy Guthrie was abducted was taken from her home, Julia.
All right, we'll continue to follow this, Jonathan. Thank you so much for your reports. All right, meantime, the FBI also announced a man who sent a fake ransom text to the Guthrie family asking for Bitcoin.
To those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from this situation, we will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions. We have made one arrest related to an imposter ransom demand.
And we now know, according to court documents, that Savannah's sister Annie Guthrie and her husband
Hold on. Did you get the Bicon? Where? Where we were waiting on our end for the transaction. See, that sound like Mexico. She ain't gone to Africa, no, Trinidad. She could be in Mexico. But they locked him up. They need to make him talk. They got a man charged with testing Nancy's daughter and son-in-law of false demand of her for her ransom. That's somebody in Mexico. Who was her Uber driver that day? That day when they dropped in, when that Uber driver dropped her off, who was it? Is that a regular Uber driver? Because older people, they try to keep the same driver.
Both separately received text messages from Derek Kalela saying, "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the
What his name? Derek Kaleda. His name is Derek Kalela. That's a Mexican name. Hmm.
waiting on our end for the transaction." So the new details about an apparent ransom note come after Savannah and her siblings posted a video to social media speaking directly to their mother's possible abductors. CBS News senior coordinating producer Anna Schechter explains that video was an attempt to establish a line of communication before today's deadline. The press conference held by the Pima County Sheriff and the FBI today revealed new details about the timeline of what happened Saturday night into Sunday morning. And also, what was interesting is we learned a lot more about the ransom note.
Y'all gonna tell me that big pretty house right there don't have no cameras? They ain't got no cameras of that light right there. They got to have some cameras on this house. It's too many woods out there. I know her mom got cameras on her house. These folks, oh man, look how pretty the lawn is, y'all. Whoever cut the grass. Oh wow. They got to have They got to have cameras in that big old castle. She staying in that big old house. Oh Lord. And out there in the woods. Mm-mm.
To local TV stations and was passed to the FBI and shared with the Guthrie family. We learned that there is a 5 p.m. local time deadline today for the ransom to be paid. So that obviously puts the pressure on law enforcement deadline without a way to communicate with Nancy Guthrie's captors. That is why they put out that video plea last night in apparently a desperate attempt to establish a line of communication. They want to have this communication, a negotiation aided by the FBI, but since the captors did not respond again to their response to the initial ransom note, they're in the dark right now. Now, of course, the FBI, they are using all of their forensic tools to try to track down the IP address, trace that email to an individual or group of individuals. And I'm talking about that, the email with the ransom note in it that was emailed to the local news stations and to TME. So they are working that, but that can take
grass. Who maintained her? Who live in the house with her? Because I see the swimming pool look like it's updated. The grass is cut so well. It's so grooming out there. Who else live with her? She can't be staying 84-year-old in the house by herself. This a rich neighbor. It got somebody who worked for her, who run do something.
What we heard about at that press conference was the doorbell camera that had actually been disabled and taken from the property. So whoever kidnapped Nancy Guthrie took that doorbell cam with that.
And they took the doorbell camera down. Let me see something. Let me back it up. There's somebody in that lady house. That lady, somebody lived there. Somebody else stay in that house.
Nancy Guthrie took that doorbell cam with that.
Yeah, they had to take the doorbell down. They took that camera down. Well, the camera used to be on the wall. Do that lady like that.
The other thing that was interesting, the FBI 5 days later put out a reward of $50,000. I think from their perspective, they were hoping that
Ain't that beautiful? She love her mama. That's a hard. Please send her Savannah mama back to her.
More people to call in more credible tips, but that's pretty much what we gleaned. It was actually more information than I was expecting to get at the press
Me
conference.
too.
Again, those new details that essentially everybody remains a suspect because they haven't narrowed it down. So that is a really tough place to be at from the family perspective and from the perspective.
I wonder what family was having a function. I know my ring. You have to take it off to charge. You have to take the ring. You got to take that battery out and charge it. You have to charge that battery. But I can't believe all that money she has. Why her ring doorbell ring is not? Why she didn't get it monitor her house? Because she's an elderly lady. She's 84. She need cameras out there. She can fall down, and hurt herself anytime. I'm talking about the safety of Miss Nancy. Why? Okay. Why the cameras ain't working? Why the ring camera ain't working? Why is not a camera on the house? Why do the mom don't have any security cameras? How old are the grandkids? Is it that grandkids? What happened? Something happened.
The investigators. Back to you. Adjunctor, thank you. We asked Michael Alcazar, adjunct professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and former NYPD hostage negotiator, to weigh in on this case. So here's what he had to say about the strategy behind the pleading message Savannah and her siblings posted to social media.
So I'm sure they're already employed to help negotiators. I'm sure they help create that statement. If you listen to the statement, it's very carefully worded. It sounds like the family is willing to cooperate. They stress that this woman. So it sounds to me like there is.
This baby have a pacemaker on? Why they ain't got no? Why they don't have the ring? Why did mom why not hooked up, y'all? Mm, mm, mm.
A ransom note that they're betting. They want to make sure that they know that they're willing to cooperate and they're open to communication.
We also asked Michael about the apparent ransom note in this case. We know it's sent to a local news station via email. Here's what Michael had to say about how investigators could trace it back to the sender.
Yeah, they're gonna look at that electronically. They have that can vet the metadata, where that information is coming from, how it was. We want some kind of proof of facilitate.
People wanted to y'all, but the thing is, it take longer to try to find. It shouldn't even take this long to find Miss Nancy. I hope Miss Nancy not dealing with dementia. It just hit her. Let me see some, y'all. Let me look up there. 911. Let me listen to the 911 call. I thought maybe they'd be on file Miss Nancy by now. That's why I didn't do nothing on her. Let me see.
Saw some things at the home that were concerning to us.
Hold on, y'all. Did somebody find the 911?
Yeah. Just want to give you a little bit of information on Thomas Oceoni, Annie Guthrie's husband, whom at this point I am told again may be a prime suspect in this case. He's 50, from Tucson. His bio from a website that's an Italian website, an official.
Hello, y'all. Let me pull this up. Hold on, let me pull this up. I ain't never seen him.
Website, an official Italian website for the Taparulan Society Cultural Association, the Taparulan Cultural Association. Thomas Oceoni, Annie Guthrie's husband, whom at this point I'm told again may be a prime suspect in this case. He's 50, from Tucson. His bio from a website, it's an Italian website, an official Italian website for the Taparulan Society Cultural Association, the Taparulan Cultural Association, a nonprofit focused on promoting contemporary artists.
So a report has came out that Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law is the prime suspect.
Oh, that's somebody's show. I'm sorry, Mister. God, I didn't know what's her name was doing this show. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was somebody's show. I'm sorry.
We need to know without a doubt.
Welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack.
Wow, I want them to dispatch audio. Okay, got it.
Just got a hold of something. We just got a hold of this police scanner audio from when Nancy was first reported missing on.
Hold on, yeah.
We just got a hold of something. We just got a hold of this police scanner audio from when Nancy was reported missing on Sunday. I want to play it, and then I want to get to you, Brian, on your take on it. Let's take a listen.
Nancy, a white female, 84 years of age, 5 million build, prior blue. Laying after 22 hours as of yesterday. Nancy has high blood pressure, pacemaker, and cardiac issues.
Brian, that's Kate, right? When we talk about the medication, when we talk about the pacemaker, that is a race against time.
Right, she's racing against time.
Yeah, I mean, I pick up on the pacemaker comment. We've reported that she has the pacemaker, that it connected to the Apple Watch, that the Apple Watch was charging, and that the last time the pacemaker connected to the Apple Watch was around 2 a.m., which is presumably around the time she was kidnapped, because that's why it stopped connecting to the Apple Watch. So that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was listening to it. But yeah, it's key just because she's an 84-year-old woman who needs her medication, and I think that's one of the reasons they're sort of a race against time here. As more time passes,
it is racing against time. If she's missing her medication, even though her medicine is still in her system, y'all, that's a good thing. Because see, I take my blood pressure medicine every day. If I skip it, it doesn't do nothing to me. So if she's been consistent taking her medicine, but she needs her medicine now. Now this been like a week or two. This been like a week and a half. And she have a pacemaker. That pacemaker supposed to help her heart, but it needs to be charged. Don't they have to do something? I don't know. What do the pacemaker need? Do she really need anything else to make that pacemaker work? Marcus, do she need something to make that pacemaker work? My daddy didn't have it hooked up to nothing, but he had it in his arm. It was in his arm. So it don't mean that her heart is giving up on her. Cause the pacemaker supposed to be something supposed to take the place of the heart. Of the heart. Supposed to help the heart. I don't know. I know my dad had one. And he had the mechanic think something in his arm to go to his chest. But she do need her medicine though, for real.
She doesn't have the medicine. Just, the outcome looks more and more grim. He went to a local station, I believe, in Arizona. What can you tell us about this?
Okay.
Yeah, so it was an email to TMZ, Jesse. There was apparently some specific information about what's also some specific.
Is the what? The thing in, like I said, man, what's in my daddy arm? What is the DR controls? The better is because it's not. So the DR is a thing in his arm. I wonder where's hers located. But then she had the Apple Watch.
They were requesting monies. What we don't know is if any of that information is even right. I mean, this could all just be totally made up. Someone who just emailed TMZ. There was also a Bitcoin account where they were requesting the money be sent. And then there was a similar message also sent to a local TV affiliate in Tucson. Again, these could just be like idiots, trying to get money and thinking I'm going to email TMZ and try to get involved. We don't know. But the sheriff did put out a release afterwards saying they're taking it seriously and they are investigating, whether or not it's real. And I asked at the press conference also about ransom, and they didn't deny it. He said something like, "Oh, we're looking into everything." He didn't say no, we haven't gotten any, request for ransom. And they should be looking into anything else.
Yeah, they should be looking into everything.
They might be even looking into see if anybody committed a crime by if there was a fake ransom. So you've been at the house. I want to go back to something I mentioned before. Does it look like the camera was taken, the doorbell camera? Does it look to you like someone moved that camera, outside of her house? Because that would be a critical piece of evidence. I know we talked before about what it would actually show, given how dark it is. But does it look like that was removed?
Oh, wow. Look at that.
In the video, there's just a mount there now.
Oh, look, y'all. There go the doorbell, the ring. Somebody took that thing down. There you go, right there. Let me move these words. Look at that. Took the whole doorbell down. Okay, I got a problem. Somebody lit up the garage. Somebody lit the garage down. The ring is gone on the house. How old are these grandkids? Who is this dude and Anna boyfriend? Who is it? The whole cotton picking ring. This somebody who knows her. This somebody who knows the family, allegedly.
It does. And it's just, you can see in the video, there's just that at the press conference. I asked the sheriff, do you think the perpetrator is the one who took the camera? And he said, we also noticed that the camera is missing and we're looking into it. So it's very strange that the camera is missing. The big question I have is, was the camera recording to the cloud? Many of these new Ring cameras, Google-based cameras, record to a cloud. So even if it was removed, the video up until that point would still exist and they would be able to get it. We don't know the answer to that. It's kind of another strange part of the press conference, though. The sheriff said they're still having issues getting certain surveillance video, and they're working with companies, and he was frustrated by that. So maybe by now they've been able to, capture some of that video. But I guess if someone just grabbed the camera, grabbed it from the side or from behind, it may not even show. That's why you have the FBI there. That's why they have the research to gather that digital evidence. Thank you for that video.
And let me see right here, y'all. About the car being towed. Lord, how much I don't missed out on a whole lot doing the other cases. When I get into an investigation, I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. Let me find out about the car. Ashley saying about the car.
And what a day. This is day 5.
Okay.
Because the criminal complaint against him says he's facing 2 federal charges, allegedly transmitting communication containing a demand or a request for a ransom for the release of any kid they intend to abuse, threaten, or harass a person. And I did a little quick research, very, very cursory research here, but under California statute, a defendant who uses the internet, again, that's cross state lines, right? To extort a crime victim during an investigation has a realistic exposure to somewhere between a range of 3 to 8 years in prison, federal prison.
What?
The lower end, because it can actually go up to a potential of life as a maximum. Any aggravated witness intimidation and criminal threats like strike priors are in play. So on the low end, 3 to 8. I mean, what kind of parasite does this? What
Right.
parasite? And I think we all know there are plenty, right?
Right.
That's just one of these ransom demands. We still have, these 3 other communications that were sent via email, and they mentioned apparently floodlights at Nancy's house and an Apple Watch. Okay, Brian Enton has been out front and reporting a lot of this, but I do want to let you know that the timing of this is really interesting. So Monday is February the 2nd. Lots of reporting on this. Visuals of Nancy's house. The crime scene tape has come down. And news actually breaks. So Brian Enton actually asked the authorities in the news conference today, did the ransom note come in before all that news broke or after all that news broke when you could see the floodlights and we knew about the Apple Watch?
When did the first ransom note arrive? And the reason I ask is because the Apple Watch has been in the news on social media, and you can see the floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what and following the leads on that. But I don't have the time frame that the first note came in as I sit here today.
So I can tell you right now, there was wide reporting on the Apple Watch separating
Right.
from Nancy's pacemaker on Monday. And much of those communications, started arriving Monday evening. So it's entirely possible somebody just saw the news, saw the floodlights, heard about the pacemaker and the watch, and sent these notes out just, once again, trying to insert themselves. Is it possible there is someone holding Nancy Guthrie?
Yo, it's so many houses out there got swimming pools. It's a nice area, y'all. My thing is this. I go back to that boyfriend and the man that they locked up. They don't give that woman up. They don't give Miss Nancy a heart attack. These people around here, it can't be the neighbors to me. Because swim pool right here, swim pool everywhere. And it's no cameras in that house for an 84-year-old woman to be living there by herself. It's weird things going on here. I need some more answers.
They have these leads. They have to treat it as the level, which is why you're seeing these proof of life videos from the Guthrie kids. And
Everybody out there check their swimming pool. They need to check their pools. She could have walked somewhere. We don't know what happened.
Dedicated to this, big waste of time.
Excuse me.
And it's why the sentence range can take you up to max. So let's turn down to the press conference, because some of the things the sheriff said today and how he said these volumes, right? There is a lot, including some of the things he said, I think, about my reporting and other people's reporting. Before I get to that, though, I do want to tell you thank you very much for watching this podcast and supporting my podcast. I can't do this without you. You mean the world to me, especially during a big story like this. Great joy and Blokes Lab.
See, that's what I be trying to tell y'all. I appreciate y'all participating when we be doing all of this, because this is not easy. Okay, we got that information. We got that. But I got my word bent for me. I be appreciating everything. When y'all be participating in these cases, it be so serious to me, y'all. I always wanted to be an investigator. I always wanted to. Wow. I got my work. I got that look for Miss Nancy. Even just bring her home. Bring Miss Nancy home. She 84 years old. Y'all done did something to the beautiful lady, and she's like a little sweetheart. And she remind me of my mother. My mother, my mom went missing. Didn't nobody do nothing to her. But this is what I want to do. I want to tell y'all thank you. And what we'll do, work on this. I'll work on this story tomorrow. I got to help find Miss Nancy. All right, y'all. I love y'all. And Marcus, thank you so much for the information that you gave in the comment section. I love y'all. I'm out.